As we have already talked in previous videos, CEO of Tesla, Elon Musk, recommends you to delete your Facebook and use other social media alternatives instead. And in this video, we will go deep into this topic and analyze if Elon is right or wrong. It is no secret that there are many studies done about this topic. Does social media have a negative or positive influence on people? And if it does, what can we do about it? Well, as we know, Elon Musk shared his opinion about the Facebook with his million of Twitter followers, where he said that he deleted both the Tesla and SpaceX Facebook pages, as well as stating that the platform is not really useful. The early 2000s saw the beginnings of what would become the social media explosion that defined the decade. It all began in 2003 with the advent of Friendster, which was a social networking app aimed at providing people with a safe yet fun place on the internet to meet new friends from around the world. Friendster was founded by Jonathan Abrams, and within the first few months of it going live was able to accumulate around 300 million users. Those who are old enough to remember Friendster most likely remember the progression of social media sites that came after: Facebook, MySpace, YouTube, Twitter, and the more recent ones such as Instagram and TikTok, just to name a few. Today there are hundreds of social media sites and apps that people use, and they cater to just about every interest, niche, and personality you can think of. But what started as a well-mentioned idea to bring people together has morphed into something that can be, at times, dangerous. Despite what you may have heard, not all social media is bad. In fact, in 2018, the New York Times Consumer Insight Group released results from a study they conducted regarding why people utilize social media. The top 3 reasons were to stay in touch with friends, to find funny or interesting content, and to find videos or content to share with others. In last place, people cited wanting to follow celebrities. Pretty harmless, right? The results themselves are actually not eyebrow-raising, but that's because the reasons, at least the way they're worded, don't sound that bad. More on that in a bit. Other effects of social media, perhaps ones which weren't intended in the early days but are certainly widespread now, have to do with exposure. Businesses, both small and large, can utilize social media to spread the news about their brands, their products, to generate new clientele, and to keep in touch with existing customers. Small businesses especially can find representation on platforms such as TikTok that have millions of users. Although some of the larger businesses gain the opportunity to pay for exposure, such as creating their own ads that can be displayed, smaller businesses at least have their foot in the door when it comes to reaching many individuals at once. Social justice campaigns have also benefited from the advent of social media as well, since people can spread the word of their work quickly and easily. Back in 2011, when the Arab Spring was materializing in different Middle Eastern and North African countries, Twitter was pivotal in getting the message out and drawing awareness to what was going on. Social justice organizers, no matter their cause, overwhelmingly use social media to attract support and bring attention from people who otherwise would have no way of knowing about them. Yet recently, reports have begun to surface about the psychological toll that social media has taken on individuals, notably teenagers. Mental health experts have long talked about this notion of FOMO, or fear of missing out, that is created by these social media apps. In essence, FOMO refers to the feeling that you are not living your life to the glamorous standards set by the people you follow, and it can therefore lead to feelings of inadequacy and, in some cases, depression. People fall into the trap of comparing their lives, their homes, their bodies, and other aspects to the individuals they see on social media, and it can have a dangerous impact on their mental health. Though they represent a small minority, there have been a handful of celebrities who are public critics of social media platforms. Figures such as Selena Gomez, Pete Davidson, and Demi Lovato have all spoken extensively about the need to prioritize your mental health over your use of social media apps. And though some of them haven't totally quit all social media, they understand the need to take a break. Billionaire Elon Musk has also been a vocal advocate of quitting certain social media sites, namely Facebook and Instagram. He is known to be a prolific user of Twitter and has shown his support for the messaging app Signal. On January 7th, he sent out a tweet that said, "Use Signal." This was taken to mean that Musk was directing his followers away from Facebook-owned WhatsApp. Musk is also someone who has spoken about the social toll that he thinks Instagram has on people. Recently, Facebook and Instagram have come under fire after an investigation revealed that the companies knew how toxic their platforms could be and how they could adversely affect the self-esteem of their young users. Musk had commented on this years ago when he appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, when he said, "One of the issues with social media that's been pointed out by many people is that, I think maybe particularly Instagram, people look like they have a much better life than they really do." He believes that people seek to create a false persona on the internet, and in turn, that makes other people feel bad about themselves when they can't live up to the lives they see other people parroting. Therefore, it would be an understatement to say that Elon Musk is not a fan of Facebook and Instagram. Musk was correct in assumption that this would take an emotional toll on people, and his statements were supported by the groundbreaking discoveries from the investigation. It got so bad for Facebook and Instagram that at the end of September, they announced that they would be pausing work on their 13 and under kids version of Instagram. Parents and caretakers made it very clear that they would not be able to trust a kid version of the app since it had sparked so much controversy in previous weeks. Teens are also susceptible to cyberbullying, or bullying, which takes place over the internet, and can range from mean comments to sharing unflattering or inappropriate photos of someone against their will. In extreme cases, cyberbullying has caused individuals, notably teens, to abuse drugs, alcohol, and other substances, while in the majority of cases, it's caused them to suffer from social anxiety and depression. Facebook, which owns Instagram and a host of other apps under the new company brand named Meta, continued to be in the public eye in the last few months of 2021 after a whistleblower by the name of Frances Haugen turned over tens of thousands of documents from within the company to the SEC and the Wall Street Journal. Haugen had previously worked for Facebook to help monitor interference in the election within the Civic Integrity Department, but left in May of 2021. She left after realizing the extent to which the app and company executives were, as she later stated, ignoring the damage caused by their product. Facebook itself had conducted research into the effects of its app, but according to Haugen, they were more interested in putting astronomical profits before people, as she later testified. Facebook was not the only company to conduct research into the psychological and social effects of its app. In the last decade, numerous studies have come out affirming that everyone who knows the social media apps negatively impact vulnerable groups, such as teenage girls and individuals living with anxiety or depression. Adolescent girls in particular are more likely to develop weight and eating disorders due to constant comparison of their bodies with those of influencers and other public figures. Facebook countered Haugen's claims by saying that their prioritization of profits over people is simply not true. In a blog post, founder Mark Zuckerberg wrote, "The argument that we deliberately push content that makes people angry for profit is deeply illogical. We make money from ads, and advertisers consistently tell us that they don't want their ads next to harmful or angry content." He also addressed Haugen's statement that the company ignored the findings of their own research, which Zuckerberg said doesn't make any sense. No matter what social media app you choose to use, it is obvious that there are positives and negatives to every platform out there. And finally, if you like this video, please subscribe to our channel. It's easy, it's free, and it will be a great support for the channel.